Hafa day, everyone. Welcome back to another edition of Island Images. I'm here with Captain Mario BORJA, Miguel, and also Tony, who are the crew of the Sakman here behind us. Good morning. Thank you so much for having us aboard.
Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity.
So, Captain BORJA, can you tell us a little bit about the Sakman? You're all from California, correct?
Yes. Well, the canoe is built in California. These folks are from the Long Beach area.
Okay.
They're part of our team.
But you're all Chamorro from Guam originally?
All Chamorro, yes.
Okay. And how did you come up with the idea to build this boat and bring it here to Guam?
It was another canoe that inspired us to ask a question about the canoes from our very islands, the Marianas. See, when we were growing up, we were taught more about the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria, and not much of our canoes, other than their presence when Magellan came in by the hundreds, but no more detail than that. So in 1995, when the Hokulea came into San Diego Bay, it's a Hawaiian canoe. It's a 62-foot double-hulled canoe, massive in size. It inspired us to ask that question, what's the connection between our Mariana Islands to large canoes and large canoes to our small islands? We won't be here today if that canoe did not trigger that question.
Now, how long is this canoe?
This canoe is 47 feet, right,
47
Tony?
feet, okay.
In our additional research, we found a drawing from Sir George Anson dating back 75 years ago now. We built the canoe from that very drawing, and there's the product right behind us.
So are you saying, so between, say, the time of Magellan up until now, Guam maybe hasn't seen a Sakman quite like this?
Well, the last time it was documented was 270 years ago by Sir George Anson when he came to visit the islands on his way to in search of the Spanish galleons.
Okay.
But he came across it, and that was the first time that it was documented. We did not write anything. We passed all our knowledge down orally, so it lived there, but not in print, and that was the first opportunity.
Now this canoe was built in San Diego, is that right?
That's true.
Okay. And shipped over here, and how many pieces was it in?
Actually, it was shipped over by Matson. Thank you, Matson, for doing that, on a trailer which we built just to accommodate this vessel.
And was it in 10 pieces, 100 pieces, or?
Was completely disassembled.
Oh, okay. So the big job
from the hull itself, and the outrigger. Everything else is in pieces.
Yeah.
So if you gentlemen could tell me what's your background? Do you have any carpentry? Have you built boats before this? How did you come to build this thing?
None of us were canoe builders when we started this project, but we did build models, as you see there. Models were essential for many purposes, and Tony can share that, why we built models.
The purpose of building models is, one, to prove the documents that's there. Second, we need to find out what kind of tools we need to use. Master Carver here decided that, okay, we'll start from a small canoe and continue building up to approximately 8-footer. And at 8-footer, he had all the confidence to tackle the big log. But even at that point, there's still a large information that we needed to pull out because of the type of the canoe that we're building, the bending of the wood that we need to so we need to come up with solutions for those.
How big of a crew do you need to take this on a long journey?
What's our crew size?
We need a minimum crew of 6 to operate the vessel. Of course, if we're going to go on a longer journey, we're going to need a rotating crew so that we can have watch at all times.
When we built the canoe, it was always part of its destiny to sail into the islands. We wanted to sail it here, but we couldn't muster the right crew to complete that journey. And the weather was not cooperating. It's El Nino period. We know the risk, and we fear the ocean, we respect the ocean, but we want it to be here whole so that we can participate in FESPAC. It's an opportunity for us to present our canoe. Hatsa Laza! Hatsa!
Sakman, tinimog sa ibang lutatan, tiniyan, unggan magahe, Sakman, sana si daw na sudahan.
Let this be a vessel to bring us back. Bring back our old traditions. This is a reawakening. Not only looking around on the Sakman, you find names of everything here that is Chamorro. Everything that you see on this Sakman has a Chamorro name.
Yes.
So it is important that we do not die with this. We need to bring it back out. There are organizations here that are pursuing the Tatasi, or the seafaring tradition. That is the Tasa, the Tasi, and the Urutao. Come out, join them, come out and join us. We'll be glad to show you, glad to have you reconnect back to your own roots.
We contend that culture begets language and language begets culture. Building culture, you're going to build the language as we have done here. But neglecting one would lead the other to the same. Build up our culture, build up our language. They go hand in hand.
Hunggan.
Hunggan magahit. Yes, true, it is true.
This story was told to us by Steve Benegas. He's a tribal leader in the Kumeyaay Nation of Southern California, the San Diego area. And this is something that has survived in their oral history from the contact with the Spanish. And the story goes like this. One afternoon, the chief is sitting on a hilltop looking out towards the sea, and he sees these 3 ships coming into land. And these are ships he had never seen before. It's nothing like the canoes of his people, nothing like the canoes of people he had traded with. And he knew immediately in his heart that something was going to happen to his people, that his culture and his language were in danger. And so he called all of the tribe's people together for a meeting, and he told them all, listen, there are people coming here, and our culture and our language are in danger of being lost. What do we do? Where do we hide our culture and our language? And this man up front, a very robust man, stands up. He goes, Chief, I know exactly what we need to do. We need to hide our culture and our language in the trees. Surely they will never look for it there. And the chief, scratches his chin. Yes, that's a good idea. And, a little old lady says, no, Chief. They'll look in the trees. What we need to do is we need to hide our culture and our language under the rocks in the river. And the chief, agrees. He says, yes, that's a good idea. That's a very good idea. And everybody starts cheering. But in the back, this little old lady, a little spinster, never had children, nobody ever listens to her. She raises her hand. She says, Chief, I know what we need to do. If we truly want to hold on to our culture and our language, we need to hide it in our children. And the chief walks through the crowd, and he comes up to the old woman and says, what did you say? And she says, if we want to hold on to our culture and our language, we need to hide it in our children. And the chief erupts with thunderous applause, and he says, this woman here is truly a master. She understands. If we want to hold on to our culture and our language, we need to hide it in our children.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for showing us the Sakman today. We had a great tour, and we encourage everyone on the island to come down and see it here at the Ganya Boat Basin.
You're welcome. Thank you for bringing the canoe into the homes of the servicemen here on Guam.
I just like to say that it's so important for us to be here on the island and share this with the next generation, the children on the island here, and so that they can reconnect with their roots, which have been lost for so long, and we are helping to rekindle.
It's a reawakening, and that's what we needed to do. That's what we need to do in our culture. We need to bring this back. This is a link to our past that has been lost, and hopefully with its presence, it ignites the heart and unites our people and get back into our seafaring tradition.
It's not a resurrection of our seafaring culture, because resurrection implies death. but reawakening just implies that it was dormant in our children. And like Miguel said, if it weren't for our ancestors hiding it in our children, this would never find life. We thank them.
Yes, well, thank you. You gentlemen did beautiful work. And for Island Images, until next time, adios.
Adios.